Banco Popular Dominicano is the first private bank in the Dominican Republic, leader of the country's financial industry, forming part of Grupo Popular. It opened its doors to the public on January 2, 1964. To date, it has approximately 7,300 employees. Throughout 55 years of institutional life, it has helped democratize financial services and boost the country's economy, generating thousands of success stories of people and companies. Likewise, our service vocation will continue to give greater coverage to impact the financial inclusion and education, savings culture, and innovative ideas that promote the sustainable development of the nation in the economic, social, and environmental spheres. The bank has played an important role in strengthening the Dominican financial system. Over the years, it has transformed our country by being the driving force behind the success of thousands of people and companies. As a multiple bank, the institution offers clients experience in personal, commercial, and corporate banking services through innovative products and valuable solutions, thanks to constant innovation, its strong corporate governance, and a successful leadership model based on ethical principles and values. According to the needs of the customers, the bank is segmented into personal banking, premium banking, personal companies, business or corporate banking, and institutional banking. The commitment of Banco Popular Dominicano manifests itself in a sustainable social performance model, providing clients with a service based on a strong cultural values. The high ratings given by the ratings agencies reflect our financial strength. We stand out for our leadership in the market and state-of-the-art technological infrastructure. We have more than 2 million clients, 190 offices, and 929 ATMs distributed nationwide, being the largest network of the Dominican financial system. During the past year, Banco Popular Dominicano achieved strong results that promoted the development of the productive and commercial sectors of the country, and thus contributed with our corporate purpose to realize the aspiration of people in a sustainable environment. This achievement was made possible by raising the efficiency levels and hence increasing the turnover. The solid performance was due to continuous efficiency gains in operations in line with our strategic plan and a turnover increase because of a customer-centric business model, which involves a distinguished treatment based on the needs of each segment and leading-edge digital solutions that makes life easier for our clients. The results of the work carried out by our financial organizations during 2018 allowed us to maintain asset quality with the healthiest portfolio indicators of the Dominican banking industry, as well as high levels of liquidity, efficiency, and solvency in accordance with our strategic plan. Banco Popular obtained numerous national and international distinctions. Among them, during 2018, Banco Popular again obtained the ratification of its solvency ratings AA+ by the risk agencies Fitch Ratings and Feller Rate, highlighting the good positioning of the bank as well as its capacity for business generation and risk management. The banker recognized us among the 3% of the world's best banks. According to the results of the survey conducted by Mercado magazine, both Banco Popular and Grupo Popular were chosen as the companies most admired for the 6th consecutive time. Bank of the Year granted by Latin Finance magazine thanks to the innovation in products, services, and processes, as well as to our attitude towards continuous improvement, which positively impact the lives of our clients. Named the Best Managed Bank in the Caribbean by Euromoney magazine, Best Investment Bank, and Best Currency Exchange Provider by Global Finance. Recognized as the Best Digital Bank by World Finance for the 2nd consecutive year, thanks to having the best financial application in the country and the leading digital transformation of financial services. According to Suma magazine and consultant Comp Ferry, we were among the 25 leading companies in Central America. These organizations highlight our learning agility, innovation, and organizational culture. Best company to work for as per Mercado magazine. excellence in cleanest production, known in Spanish as Producción Más Limpia, of Renewable Energy Award for our network of photovoltaic offices, being the first sustainable energy generating institution in the country. Banco Popular's PMO is composed of 11 members from different professional backgrounds. We are responsible for coordinating the implementation of projects of greater relevance to the organization, providing support through the analysis of information, the performance of adequate scope, time, resource, and risk management, including the analysis of alternatives for mitigation, generation, and communication of alerts as appropriate.
(2002-2005). The start of the PMO dates back to 2002 with the creation of the Strategic Planning Area. This area arose with the support of external consultancy based on the strategic plan for that same year, with the aim of strengthening the segments focusing on efficiency and risks. At that time, the organizational structure consisted of 2 units. One of them was responsible for the profitability analysis of the offices and the initiative of the strategic plan. The other unit oversaw follow-up on the implementation of those initiatives. Based on this strategic plan, the bank's clients were segmented into 2 categories, mentioned in the company overview section. All the actions oriented to the analysis and implementation of such initiatives were named as strategy plan. The activities carried out by the strategic planning area at that time is what in itself gave rise to what would later be the PMO of Banco Popular, which would subsequently monitor the implementation of various projects pursuant to their budget, man-hours required, impact on the business, as well as the savings or risk involved. As per the strategy plan, 50 projects or business initiatives would be developed and implemented in 4 phases and waves, according to the prioritization given to each of them based on the capabilities. On the planning side, a macro schedule was created at a high level, which contained each of the ongoing initiatives as a work activity. That is to say, a high-level plan was monitored without going into the very detail of the individual plans prepared by the managers of each area. This new strategic plan formed the basis for new structural changes, including the creation of the Vice Presidency of Strategic Planning, as mentioned above, and coordinators for the different segments on the business side. 2005-2008. As of this year, the organizational structure of the PMO suffered several changes. A unit was added whose purpose was the analysis and implementation of cost efficiency initiatives. The Cost Efficiency Division was in charge of following up on initiatives arising from the strategic plan. The Project Planning Division was in charge of prioritizing projects according to the capacity available for execution and order of priority established by the same users within the project package of their respective area, accompanying the user in the preparation of the business or requirements document, based on which the development area drafted a scope document that in turn gave rise to the requirements documented to the supplier, elaborating the work schedule in conjunction with the development area and monitoring it from day one of the project until its closure. A formal standard was not used for the project follow-up, but a process established by the previous team, which consisted of the aforementioned. 2008-2010. Once again, changes take place in the strategic planning area. Throughout these years, in 2010, the Strategic Planning Division was created. We now had a Project Planning Division dedicated exclusively to the implementation of the projects, from the documentation stage. In this same period, the cost efficiency division moved to another area. The structure of one division manager and 3 managers with a project leader remained part of the PMO. 2010 2012. The role of the so-called business partners emerged in the technology area upon the recommendation of external consultants. The business partners became the link between the users and technology. With this new role, there was a new ingredient to the requirements documentation process prior to programming. Based on the business documents, the business partner became the person who constructed the scope document. During this period, the PMO began to provide support for regulatory projects, which are normally received with a timeline pre-established by the regulator, to which the team must adapt in order to comply and avoid penalties to the institution. 2012-2017. Significant changes took place in this period. The PMO was structured as follows. Planning Division, PMO, 3 managers, 3 project leaders. By the end of 2017, the structure had changed to 2 managers with the same number of leaders. During this administration, the PMP, Project Management Professional, culture was incorporated into the execution of the projects, and the following events took place. Teams Project Manager Professionals, a certification. Incorporation of Scope Change Control Form. Incorporation of risk matrix in project documentation. With the adoption of PMP Mythology standards, the following were implemented. Integrated change control as part of scope management and risk management. To comply with the guidelines included in the integrated change control, a procedure was implemented that allows the evaluation of these requests by different areas: planning, operational risk, and development. Let's talk about significant changes experienced in this period. At the beginning, the need arose to review the documentation process in order to optimize the timeframes used in it. The following processes came as a result. Documentation workshops. They consisted of mid-morning sessions with all team members, representatives of all areas that would be impacted with the implementation, as well as participants who were considered standards for their role. For example, the areas of development, information security, system and processes, security and infrastructure, quality assurance, and operational risks. Such sessions were not intended to take more than 4 days, during which the project requirements would be documented in the business document, reflecting the needs of the main user and the other participating units. The analysis and design had to be done in parallel by the system development area during the days of the workshops and submitted on the 5th day following their start date. The design document was revised and ratified by the team, subsequently integrated into the business document. At this point, the requirements documents were ready to be formalized, approved by the sponsor, Vice President of System Development, Vice President of Planning, and Operational Risk Division. With the above, the project scope document disappeared, leaving the design intact. A pilot was carried out with the PayPal project, whose documentation process met the foregoing criteria. With the implementation of this new methodology, the displacement of the project was reduced by X%. In 2015, a change was made in the documentation methodology. The Division of Resource and Methodology Control arose as part of the Executive Vice Presidency of Technology. A standard was created which incorporates specific activities and documentation that must be collected by the development team as part of the documentation analysis, and design process of their projects. All this constitute a requirement to complete the documentation stage and submit it to the subcommittee that approved the start of the current project scheduling. These activities are included in the work schedule. Upon the conclusion of the workshop days, the users relies on the business document to obtain an information security report, which, together with this latter, will be input for development analysis and design. The analysis and design stage begins immediately after completing the security report and may take 4 weeks depending on the type of project. 2017-2019. During this period, the PMO structure was increased in its number of leaders and amended as follows. 2 managers, one of them serving as acting division manager, 8 leaders. All this with the deputy vice president serving as the head of the PMO. The following are some of the projects coordinated by the planning area during this period. Regulatory, based on a present timeline pattern to which the team must adapt. Otherwise, the project was executed as usual. SIPARD reports automation, payment and settlement system of the Dominican Republic, known in Spanish as Sistema de Pagos y Liquidación de Valores de la República Dominicana, SIPARD. NCF regulatory report, tax receipt number known in Spanish as Número de Comprobante Fiscal, NCF. 0.15% tax withholding. Implementation of Law 155-17, Anti-Money Laundering. Regulation for Asset Evaluation, known in Spanish as Reglamento de Evaluación de Activos, REA. Fingerprints and multifunctional ATMs. Technological, ATM, credit card, and loan payments. PDF, account statement, electronic delivery for local credit cards and checking accounts. Check deposits through the app. Replacement of the SDP charging system. BPD iBanking platform change. Panama iBanking platform change. Siebel upgrade. Replacement of the charging system. Contactless payments. The PMP certification of other team members was promoted in this period. Since the team had been renewed, 2 members were certified, and the rest remained in preparation to the extent that they completed the requirements. As of 2018, a concern arose, both from the PMO and the Executive Vice Presidency of Technology, to implement the Agile project methodology according to the characteristics thereof, in order to obtain deliverables in a shorter period of time, even when the deliverables were not received as a whole, but gradually, each with a profitable value for internal or external customer. As a result, initial steps were taken towards the preparation of the IT and PMO teams for the certification in the Agile project management methodology. Let's talk briefly about the Agile methodology and culture. According to these methodologies, team members work in small phases or sections on specific product updates. Immediately afterwards, each update is tested against the client's needs, instead of concentrating on a final product that will be useful only at the end of the project. When working on an Agile project, the outcome may differ from the result originally planned. However, during the testing process, work continues according to the client's requirement so that the final output meets their needs. Many challenges remain ahead of us in the adoption of the new methodology by the work teams of the different projects that are managed in the company. We are on track to a mix in project management according to the characteristics thereof, whether under Agile or conventional mythology, as the case may be. The greatest challenge is the resistance to change by both the technical teams and the users. Being a long-standing company with clearly defined departments and roles, there is strong resistance from members and managers in each area. The mythology under which teams are created that must function as a whole from the beginning of the project until the end represents a great challenge for the PMO and the organization. For example, transformation of the organizational culture. The senior management is already working on it at this moment, with guidelines to be followed by all the middle management levels, on the adoption of the Agile culture and the training required in the mythology for all concerned staff. Physical spaces for teams. The physical spaces in the technology area have been adopted to turn them into collaborative spaces where the Agile cells can work. Limited technical teams. With the large number of projects usually being carried out in our institution, an average of 50 managed by the PMO, this is a limitation. The organization is immersed in surveys and revisions of the project methodology aimed at optimizing current processes. We understand that changes will come as a result, which will contribute to mitigate this challenge. Training on the methodology. As a PMO, we are in the training process focused on the gradual certification of the entire team. Likewise, this training process is being promoted in other areas of the organization. Manageable number of parallel projects per project manager, whether they are agile or agile in standard. It is a challenge that we will overcome over time with the adoption of the methodology and the lessons we will learn along the way. The process itself will provide the guideline. Meanwhile, simply put, there is uncertainty which we must handle through the implementation of best practices.
The PMO reports to the project planning area, which in turn has other structures called data governance and strategic planning. This latter as clearly defined earlier. As mentioned before and be seen in the organizational chart, the PMO is headed by the Vice President of Planning, who in turn reports to the Senior Executive Vice President of Finance, Technology and Operations, who reports to the President of the organization. The Vice President of Planning. The Vice President of Planning develops the guiding principles of the PMO, establishing general objectives at the beginning of the year, and approves the projects or initiatives that will be gradually coordinated through this organizational unit. These approvals are granted progressively as they are received from other units, depending on whether it is a project that involves the acquisition of tools, changes in tools already implemented, or initiatives that do not represent technological changes. Planning Division Manager. The Planning Division Manager is responsible for the direct management of the PMO team. The position is in the change of translating the general objectives of the Planning Vice Presidency into more specific ones, aimed at obtaining the results of the general objectives assigned to it. Also, the Planning Division oversees the following: the consistent creation of strategies that support the team to achieve the defined goals, always geared toward continuous improvement. The assignment of the projects approved by the Vice Presidency. This is done according to different criteria such as experience of the resource handling projects of the type of platform or equipment involved, work experience at the PMO, and ultimately availability. To keep the Vice Presidency informed in a timely manner on the risks identified throughout the life of the project for support purposes and in order to take the appropriate steps where applicable. The elaboration of a weekly report of all the projects coordinated by the PMO, including A consolidation of all the individual reports prepared by the different team members. A summary of changes indicating all the projects that have suffered a variation in the time baseline since the last report. A summary of all the projects currently undergoing the documentation process. A summary of projects currently undergoing the implementation process. A report of the projects that are in pause status due to different reasons reported therein. Graphs of displacements or changes in the time baseline by project type, both for projects currently in the documentation stage and the implementation stage. The underlining of the cases where any project presents a phase change, for example, from documentation to design, from design to implementation, or from implementation to closed, according to the format set out for these cases. The management of conflicts in which the leader or the project manager may need a support for their resolution. Participation kickoff sessions, subcommittees that approve the start of the project's implementation and the scope changes. Committees, subcommittees, guiding projects that have a body of this type for decision making, among others. Currently, these roles are being carried out by one of the departmental managers serving as acting manager. The PMO manager is responsible of the following: consistently creating strategies that support the team to attain the goals set out by the PMO division, aimed at detecting improvement opportunities and actions that allow for continuous improvement or current metrics and overall team performance, including its integration. Preparing a weekly consolidated report covering the reports of the team members and those managed directly in order to forward it to the PMO division manager within the established time frame, ensuring the required quality. In other words, the report shall secure the following: the description of the time baseline changes matches the specifications included in the statistical table therein. Likewise, the fact that those changes have been shared with the work team must be validated with the leader concerned. The data variation in the statistical table for reporting status is directly proportional to the difference between the previous week and the current week. To support the PMO division manager in assigning projects to the team according to the aforementioned criteria. Timely keeping the PMO division and the vice presidency updated on the risks identified throughout the project timeline for support purposes and in order to take the appropriate steps where applicable. Managing conflicts in which the leader or the project manager may need support to their resolution. Participating in kickoff sessions, periodically follow-up sessions, and those where support is required for the project leader and the team. In addition, participating in committees and subcommittees guiding projects that have a body of this type for decision-making, among others. Project leader. The roles of a project leader includes coordinating and managing all activities related to the startup and documentation of the assigned projects in detail, introductory call to the main team, users, development area, and demand management area. Kickoff, presentation, and conduction of the session. Documentation workshops set forth hereinafter. Follow up on the execution of design activities. Elaboration of the project schedule based on the technical timetable and the list of other activities required for implementation. Elaboration of presentation to the subcommittee approving the startup of the implementation stage. Consolidation of business document including deliverables from the different teams providing input thereof, as well as the obtention of corresponding approvals according to the established policies. Also, track compliance on the activities of the work schedule pertaining each assigned project, which implies a close follow-up of those responsible for the activities in order to ensure that everyone delivers without affecting the baseline set out at the beginning. Managing communication, aiming to keep the sponsor and the entire team informed on the project status through regular and special reporting, timely tabling of any situation that might negatively impact the project. Managing communication, aiming to keep the sponsor and the entire team informed on the project status through regular and special reporting, timely tabling of any situation that might negatively impact the project. The periodical report must also be forwarded to the corresponding PMO manager so that it is part of the consolidation prepared by the division and sent to the senior management. It shall include the following: critical project dates such as the start date, original end date, current end date with the respective planned and current durations. Shift detail by staff responsible if applicable. Schedule level status. Description of activities completed, in progress, or upcoming. Identified risk and opportunities and action required to avoid or mitigate them. Change management as to the activities that involve integrated change control which were outlined previously. Risk management, timely pinpointing risk and opportunities throughout the project lifetime and keeping the supervising staff updated thereof to define actions required. Conflict management, acting as a mediator as to potential conflicts that could develop between the different numbers or members of the team and timely discussing them with their supervisor in case so warrants. To manage closing according to the established policies with the approval of the sponsor and based on closing agreement documentation, if any. The following are other units forming part of the standard support in the documentation and implementation processes respectively. Architecture, responsible for defining solution and supporting design for integration, BPM, business intelligence, and information management, promoting the application of standards, policies, and good practices. The architecture unit secures the structure laid out is optimal, that the necessary resources are available. Sponsor project user manager is responsible of the following: ensuring the inclusion of the requirements detailed in the business document, together with the strategic plan area, defining KPIs, key performance indicators, for the elaboration of the business case. Ratifying and improving the use cases, ensuring all requirements and possible scenarios, new, current, exceptions, reversals, etc. Defining and running the certification script. Defining, coordinating, and monitoring the project pilot and implementation. Approval of the business document, scope changes, if any, certifications, and closure of the project. Strategic planning. Area providing support to users in the definitions of the KPI for the preparation of the business cases resulting in the corresponding profitability report. Information security. This unit oversees the identification of gaps in the data protection and the design of screening measures to adequately cover such gaps. Reconciliation of assets and liabilities. Unit in charge of providing the accounting flows and reporting requirements where applicable. Operational risks. Responsible for carrying out the risk matrix of the project and monitoring those in charge of implementing the recommended controls. System development. This unit oversees the identification, analysis, and design of the functional and technical requirements for the fulfillment of the objectives set out by the user in the business document. Quality assurance, responsible for preparing cases and test matrix based on the user's requirements, performing installation and testing in test environments, implementation in product. Tech support, unit in charge of preparing and installing the equipment for the different environments required. System and processes, responsible for creating and updating the policies and procedures as well as the profiling matrix according to the changes implied in the project. Training, adoption of change, ensuring that the training requirements are covered in a timely manner and that the project implementation has a positive impact on the employees involved in the process. Compliance legal, unit responsible for ensuring that legal and regulatory requirements are met. Service quality, responsible for mapping the client's experience in a specific project, ensuring that it is easy, pleasant, simple, and transparent.
Let us further elaborate on our PMO. Mission: to support the achievement of the organization's strategic objectives through an efficient management of its project portfolio. Vision: being a team supported by top talent and best practices to accompany the successful implementation of the project that the undertaking proposes to carry out. Values: our institution is committed to a unique culture of its own, which consists in fostering decision making in accordance with our institutional values: integrity, teamwork, innovation, client satisfaction, and respect. As a PMO, our good practices are based on the same values. Integrity: we show coherence and transparency at decision making and on project related information provided to our teams and senior management. Teamwork: we provide mutual support, build effective teams, and are headed in the same direction. We value teamwork as a driving force behind goal attainment. We understand that the value of innovation is an attribute of successful organizations that allows for self-assessment, adaptation to changes, and refocusing, according to their visionary nature and market trends. Client satisfaction: we strive to provide clients and colleagues with a memorable service characterized by the efficiency, courtesy, and commitment to their needs. Respect: we treat all of our internal clients with consideration, courtesy, and empathy. Objectives: as part of our objectives, we have the main task of optimizing the resources allocated to each project so that no increase in the budget is generated and there is a positive impact on the costs of the associated project. Among other objectives are implementing effective, less bureaucratic processes and tools that allow to streamline project deliverables. Constantly reviewing the processes and tools in order to modify and or eliminate those that do not contribute to the purpose of our PMO. To promote and establish a culture open to management of agile projects in order to offer value to our clients in the shortest time possible. Establishing a culture of communication and transparency among the project teams, eliminating the practice of looking for guilty parties, but establishing a commitment to attain common objectives. To create high performance work teams, monitoring the correct execution of the processes within the framework of the established policies and procedures. To identify and develop a methodology, best practices, and standards for project management. Always trying to keep the sponsors updated on any eventuality, decision, and alternative that may enhance the process. Always ensure that the work team understands all changes and raising alerts to possible situation. Pmo Roles. Our PMO is responsible for managing projects that meet at least one of the following characteristics. The project requires the support of other areas for its execution, especially those identified as critical resources: technology, human resources training, policies and procedures, marketing. The development and implementation time exceeds 40 working days. The project produces an impact in one of the bank's critical processes. Redesign or replacement of one of the service platform is required. Technological projects are classified as corporate projects is one that supports the strategic guidelines of the company and requires a development time of more than 2,000 man-hours. Medium projects, projects that are requested by the areas of the company and require 500 to 2,000 man-hours of development. We can summarize our functions according to the stages of projects as follows. Startups, receipt of the initial documentation from the IT Relationship Manager, IT Architecture Area. Ratification of resource availability with the Resource Control and the Mythology Unit. Confirmation of the work team and definition of the roles and responsibilities. Coordination of the kickoff meeting. Kickoff. A meeting is held with the managers of the different areas that will be involved in the implementation of the project for presentation purposes. The presentation of the project includes general scope, work team, guiding committee, if applicable, documentation process, and project Gantt chart. Planning. Documentation workshops are conducted through which the requirements of the support areas are consolidated. Initial projects risk assessment. Tracking of design and estimates with suppliers. Collaboration on the development of the implementation schedule. KPIs ratification and business case management. Follow-up. Monitoring of different tasks during the execution of the project. Programming, preparation of environments, testing, certification, implementation in production, pilot, training, manuals, legal issues, among others. Utilization of Project Server as a tool to track the task of each project. Periodic meetings, face-to-face, conference, or WebEx are held with the project teams pertaining each project to review the status, performance, risk identification, and mitigating factors. Periodic project reports are sent to each team respectively, supporting the coordination of guide committees established for corporate projects. Guide committees are shaped according to the project type, duration, and budget. They are composed of senior executives from the different areas participating in the project. The members are defined from the kickoff stage. During the projects, we act as a control entity, managing the formalization of changes, maintaining a data repository for all projects, including a historical record of the closed ones, from which we extract performance statistics for senior management. Recording the lessons learned by projects and discussing them in meetings with the team. The budgetary implementation of the project is handled by the Resource Control and Mythology Unit, and it is presented in a consolidated report sent weekly to senior management. Timely feedback is provided based on the performance of the staff involved in the implementation. Follow-up meetings with the teams are conducted. Closure. Follow-up to production implementations according to the acceptance criteria previously established with the team. Closure formalization management. Update of lessons learned. The closure of the projects is notified to the Strategic Planning Unit for the purpose of measuring KPIs according to the defined business case. Support to Human Resource Area for the calculation of incentives for staff involved in the implementation. Considering these rapidly changing times, we are entering into the management of Agile projects using the Scrum methodology. Currently, The bank has three cells in which evolutionary projects are handled on platforms such as BPM, SAS, and Popular App. We are starting with a new pilot cell to handle new digital banking services. Under this methodology, the leader or manager of the PMO has the following roles and responsibility as a Scrum Master: to contribute to the proper functioning of the cell, assisting in the preservation and agile culture and methodology, to manage solutions to the impediment identified by the work team in the daily Scrum meeting, channeling the support needed through the support units, to manage solution in the impediments identified by the work team in the daily Scrum meetings, channeling the support needed through the support unit, such as sprint burndown chart, product burndown chart, sprint review, sprint velocity, to prepare executive reports for senior management, ensuring that DoD, definition of done, is done together with the team to guarantee that everyone has the same vision regarding the technical layout, testing, and user acceptance. The methodology sets out the following protocols. Daily Scrum meetings are held. Each member of the cell takes the token and expresses in detail what he/she has done to date, adjusted by time, he/she would have ready for tomorrow, and if he/she has any impediment, to execute it. As to the impediments, a post-it is completed and placed in the speedboat sailboat tool. Sprint planning. In this work session with the team, the stories are prioritized, giving them a weight, and those that add value to the business and that can, Sprint planning. In this work session with the team, the stories are prioritized, giving them a weight, and those that add value to business and that can be fulfilled within the time of the sprint are chosen. Sprint review. The objective is to analyze and verify whether or not the sprints were made successful. Sprint retrospective. It is an opportunity for the Scrum team to perform a self-inspection and create an improvement plan that is addressed during the next sprint session. Although we maintain a bottom-up methodology for projects, our goal is to continue promoting agility in the management of new projects. We try to align the strategy of the organization with the execution of projects through the management of the project portfolio. The PMO establishes a project management culture in the company. Homogeneity in the performance of the project managers of the company concerning processes and deliverables is guaranteed. We offer support in everything related to project management. Promoting continuous improvement in project management tasks through training and dissemination of knowledge is one of our priorities. Advantages as a PMO: to provide senior management with structured information for decision making, taking into account budgetary and financial factors. Improving the estimated compliance of the execution of the assigned costs, as well as the quality levels in the project and in the product. Providing visibility to projects at all levels of the organization. Providing opportunity as well as reliable process data. Optimization of communication levels between project and managers. Rationalize use of shared resources, which are normally expensive. Promote the proper administration of the project's configuration and the dissemination of the lessons learned. Minimizing the risk and their impact through monitoring tools. Ensuring the availability of methodology for project management and its constant evolution. Reporting. It is one of the management tools that is very useful for the evaluation process and determining the measures to be taken during the committee meetings. Thus, in the face of the need to express the details for each phase, resource, milestones, deliverables, cost, and other requirements, we can provide fully graphed information every time it is available upon request, usually on a weekly basis for corporate projects and bi-weekly for medium projects. Below are examples of the versatility with which reports provide information. We delve into the registered information, either for the monitoring of decisions during project follow-up or business management reports, whenever the needs arises to focus on issues that usually have to do with delays in schedules, budgetary overdrafts, resource capacity, among others.
Pmo Results. Last year, the institution attained strong results, which were the means to promote development in different sectors of the country, contributing with our corporate purpose to realize the aspiration of people in a sustainable environment. This solid performance was due to continued efficiency gains in operations in line with our strategic plan, which represented a turnover increase as a result of leveraging a customer-centric business model, leading-edge digital solutions that make life easier. We're the most innovative bank and stand out at the forefront of technology as the first to issue credit cards, introduce ATMs, launch internet banking, the first to offer a platform for mobile payments through Pmo, create a network of banking sub-agents, and an open digital branch. All these projects and achievements were led by our Pmo team, who worked hard to complete each project in a record and efficient time. We were the first bank to offer contactless payment with contactless cards and NFC near-field communication technology payment terminals. The project began to reach its goal in 2017 with the launch of popular contactless credit cards, making it a pioneer organization in using these NFC-enabled method of payment. The transaction is performed by approaching the contactless card to a payment terminal adapted to the NFC technology. Such action is called tapear, to tap the card by Banco Popular. The shopping experience is simple, faster, and safer because no third party manipulates the card, and hence there's a reduction of transaction time and deterioration of the payment instruction. Digital transformation is changing the way customers interact with financial institutions. You have been key in this digital client acquisition process. Currently, more than 1,100,000 customers are affiliated to digital channels, and more than 80% of the bank's new clients leave our offices as digital affiliates. The mobile phone has become the primary catalyst for digital transformation in financial institutions. New applications arise that make people's lives easier. Over the past years, Banco Popular has made significant investment to strengthen its digital banking model. This is evidenced by the launch of its new Network Operations Center, known as NOC, in 2017. The NOC is the technological main center that monitors and ensures the proper functioning of channels and the stability of real-time operation. This monitoring center is fully operational and running 24/7 on a daily basis. It is the largest and widest-ranging NOC of the Dominican financial system, upon which Banco Popular's robust technological platform rests. Multiple system channels and processes made available to clients by the institution are managed from its 36 working stations. This way, the bank always guarantees the best possible performance. This operations center is also supported by an alternative data center located at the NAP, known as the Network Access Point of the Caribbean in Boca Chica. It is a backup technological infrastructure capable of running all NOC operation entirely and with the same performance level. It is based on the highest international standards to ensure the continuous flow of transactions in face of any eventuality. With the aim of ensuring a greater level of contingency beyond the Dominican Republic, the bank also replicates its operation in an IBM Disaster Recovery Center located in Raleigh, North Carolina. It is a guarantee that reinforces the resilience of the organization and its ability to recover data in case of large-scale events such as an earthquake. Thus, leveraged in the strategy of digital leadership in the Dominican banking industry in 2018, the financial institution continued to strengthen its technological structure through the implementation of several projects supported by our PMO, among which the following can be listed. Popular Digital Center. First in its class in the Dominican Republic, in line with international banking trends, bringing innovations to clients and fostering the self-service culture. This center is focused on the new habits of users and their way of understanding and relating to banking services. Unlike other network branches, this space will be the platform for the launch of our technological innovation and a laboratory from where we will continue to strengthen our leadership in digital banking. In this center, customers have the access to electronic devices such as interactive tables, tablets, mobile phones, and state-of-the-art ATMs where they can carry out their usual operations and try out new features in the first place. Popular Digital Center is the place where you start to live the banking experience of the future. Today, this center of innovative solution is a reality thanks to the dedication, skills, and team spirit of people in different areas of the institution. Citing the testimony of our vice presidents, the Popular Digital Center project was a great experience for all of us who participated in it. Other teams worked coordinated so that the bank could present this new branch concept where all the digital tools that make our clients' life easier were displayed. In the 8 months between the kickoff and the inauguration, the commitment and the dedication of all collaborators became evident and the values of our organization were revealed. Our planning team coordinated the articulation of the work plan with more than 15 areas participating in this project. We followed up on each of them in order to ensure compliance with the responsibilities of the agreed dates. Popular App Digital Token. The PMO participated in the implementation of the Popular App New Version project, which featured greater security and new functionalities such as the digital token or the digital wallet referred to as Wallet Popular. It is the first Dominican virtual wallet developed under the worldwide Visa and MasterCard standards. This new app was a success and has been awarded by the magazine World Finance as the best Dominican financial application. The results are reflected in an increase of the users with more than 445,000 users and a 21% increase in comparison to 2017. Also, 62% growth in transaction volume and 12.3 million transactions made. New ATM features. We have one of the largest ATM networks in the financial system. At the end of 2018, 302 of our units received more than 5 million online deposits, a project managed by our PMO. Also, in 2018, we implemented a project to offer the new option of paying cards and loans online through our ATMs. 937 automated teller machines, 7,569 transactions per hour, 66.4 million transactions in 2018, just to name a few examples. Altogether, our PMO managed to close 24 projects in 2018. In addition, we were able to reduce the overall deviation percentage of implemented projects by 6%. Banco Popular has the Service Measurement and Monitoring Unit, which annually evaluates the service quality based on the service guidelines defined by the institution and the aspiration of our clients. The results obtained determine whether any unit must enter the service quality certification process. Below are the items assessed. Having said that, we are pleased to note that in 2018, our PMO received the Gold certification for the second consecutive year. Moreover, in 2018, we received the following distinctions: Outstanding Management in the Executive Vice Presidency of Finance, Operations, and Technology. Employee of the Year obtained by one of our collaborators in the Associate Vice Presidency of Planning.
Grabando. 10 minutos.
Next steps. For the preparation of the 2019 goals and budgets, last year we worked on updating our strategic plans, thus closing a planning cycle that began in 2002 when we defined a client-centered plan, leading us to adopt a segmentation model that mapped out a course for these three subsequent strategic plans. A new planning cycle is now being approached, in which a fresh perspective of the business expected to guide the organization for the next 15 years has been defined, where data, technology, and talent become the differentiating element in maintaining the preference of clients and their communities. As part of the new strategy, we plan to work on two key ideas. One, streamlining the implementation and design of business applications, and two, to keep up our forecasting efforts in order to prepare for and adjust to the new stream of innovations that lies ahead. Over the past 3 years, we have developed an expertise in working with Agile cells on small projects in platforms such as BPM, SAS, and the popular app. We have also started a pilot to implement Jira software in all our projects in the near future. Jira software is one of the leading Agile equipment development tools offered in the market today. It will allow us to obtain a more efficient and agile follow-up on the lifetime of our projects. Introducing a training and career program for our staff. A training and career program is established based on the vision and policies of the institution and according to the staff's level of mastery over the discipline. This program should be designed around the groups of processes and knowledge areas set out by the PMBOK as the commonly accepted practice for project management. The program can be as extensive or specific as the organization may determine, and it can even go as far as preparing the staff in the organization to obtain some of the certifications granted by the PMI. Currently, 3 of our members hold the PMP certification, and 2 of them are currently in the process of becoming certified PMI ACPs. And this is what we want to achieve: a fast PMO, anticipated to the needs of its client and with a staff that is highly trained, motivated, sure of their talent, proud and committed to the proposed goals in our organization. This year, our goals and objectives will be focused on digital evolution, by means of which we will continue to promote innovation and differentiation in digital banking in order to strengthen the experience of internal users, increase the loyalty of our clients, and anticipate their needs by creating new tools. New care and service model to create new form of customer service, meeting their service requirement, and implementing value proposition to success, generating key segments. Efficiency in business operations. We will continue to strengthen the quality of operational services and streamline improvements in operational efficiency and productivity, rediscovering the processes to offer services with the highest quality standards and with as few errors as possible to avoid rework and high cost. The creation of product and services, continuing to be leaders in the preferences of the country to continue innovating in the market. We will focus on the consolidation of a revolutionary leadership to support cultural transformation, encouraging the automation of processes to improve the client's experience. These plans will be based on three axes: digital culture, efficiency culture, and client experience. Digital culture, schemes and initiatives that promote innovation through tools, digital practices, and collaborative spaces will be implemented. Transformation is a challenge which is based on integrating digital behaviors and work schemes in our day-to-day, giving room for innovation in all of its aspects, quickly learning from experimentation and developing tolerance for errors on the go. Efficiency culture. Work will be carried out by three major areas: digitalization of internal processes, implementation of robots to streamline operational processes, continuous improvement initiatives based on the lean method. Customer experience. With the aim of fostering a culture of service, we will be ensuring the customer experience are easy, pleasant, simple, and transparent, known in Spanish as fáciles, agradables, simples y transparentes, FAST, embracing models that allow for minimizing client effort, offering first contact solutions, facilitating self-service through digital tools.